كبيرة. تلخيص صلاح سعيد المكان حبيب زيتون جميل. He attended this morning class. We did have Farhan, Ilham, Mustaqim. So you finished your quarantine. Maisara, Adina, Azima, Diana, Najiha, Isra. So Mustaqim and Ilham, right? Huh? Sorry. Muhammad Ilham. Nasuha. Next. Aisha. We have Noor. Safiha. Izzati. Siti Aisha. Sauda. Shita. Nurai. Yusri. Zulaikha. And Kamalina. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم. The best that we should start with is to recite how I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we started the fasting month in the best circumstances, individually as well as in your environment. Because those who are in the Mahalla, I know it's quite hard to fast far away from the family, and especially the last few couple of years where everyone fasted at home. For you, it should be quite hard. But inshallah, this is the multiplication of your reward. Because now you are just not only fasting, you are also doing the jihad of talab al-ilm, acquisition of knowledge. So to couple these two together at the same time with the ibadah that inshallah, that everyone is making sure to do, I know that this month will be one of the best, inshallah, at the achievement of personal individual the spiritual growth and maturity. Because it is not only that taqwa, which is very important to gain taqwa, to achieve taqwa, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this in the Quran regarding the soul. كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. So it's the first purpose is to gain and try to attain taqwa from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, the other benefits are so many. It is a school, it is a training, the fasting. It's intensive training, which tries to get the first purpose, which is taqwa, but also other benefits, as I said. One of them is to mature, especially when you are far away from the house, because you have to find your way by your own. You cannot depend on your mom, your comfort zone. And now you can appreciate also the effort of your mama and your parents, those who prepare for you. Yeah, I think the girls, you take part in the kitchen, right? And so on. But still secondary compared with the role of the mama, for those who have their mother's language. So now you are on your own. And you are not the worst, actually. There are some who have been doing for years. My daughter is there, and she has been there for last 3 Ramadans by her own. And you see, to get in halal food, it's to prepare yourself. Everything should be done and taken care of by herself. But I saw the result. When she was here, she was depending on me and her mom in everything. Even to communicate with the officers, to get the documents, all these things. I used to do it. She doesn't know even how to put the card into the banking machine. I do it for her. Suddenly she found herself by her own. And it was hard in the beginning. She lost her card twice, and she called crying in London. Baba, what should I do now? All my money gone. So please come down. First, you call the bank and you tell them that to cancel your, give them the number and tell them that this is what happened. They will cancel, so no transaction. And so this is teaching process, learning process, and it is frustrating sometimes, it is hard sometimes, but in the end of the day, when you learn and you compare yourself, where you were and where you are now, you see big difference, you mature. That's why I'm saying that although it is not nice, probably immediate feeling, but you are alone, you're eating from the food of the restaurant or the canteen. But if you look at the bigger picture, it's good for you. It's good for you. So you start looking at the world by your own eyes, not the eyes of your parents. You are not dependent on anyone, which is very important. So, remember that as Muslims we have a lot of duties. And Ramadan is not only the ritual aspect that we refrain from food and from drinking and until the fast. No, we need to look at the purpose of fasting. We need to look at the maqasid. Why this school is set, the school of fasting? So this is very, very important to ask the big questions, to look beyond the literal or the narrow sense of fasting. It's not just about refraining from food and drink. When you refrain, what is developed there? It's the irada. What is the irada in English? The will. Yeah. So to develop, to strengthen your irada. And I think we spoke about irada before in Aqidah. And we said that there is irada bashariya, the human will, and there is the divine will. And this concept of irada means that you have the choice. So you can call it irada, will, and you can call it an ikhtiyar, which is the choice. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the choice. The choice of what? The choice of making your own decision. Do you want to be a believer or you want to be a disbeliever? I'm talking about humans, not you. For you, it is a different story. And we explain this. I think I asked the question, I said, if the human will is granted by Allah to everyone, why Muslims who are grown and in a Muslim family are not allowed to change their aqidah, right? I asked this question and I invited you to search more. Anyone did some research for this? No, busy fasting, doctor. I'm tired. Okay. So I'm repeating this because we need always to, these things will come and will always be in the discussion. It is part of the discussion. Okay. Just smooth. There we go. See? Yeah. Now. So the concept of irada comes into the picture, choice, and so on. Last time we also divided the tawheed into 3 dimensions, right? Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, then Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, and finally Tawheed al-Islam and Sifat. I think we covered Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, and we little bit started Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. So Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, it can be also called Tawheed al-Ibadah. Tawheed al-Ibadah. Here is to single out and to offer ibadah. To offer ibadah. Ibadah is worship in English. You know, you can call it ibadah. You can call it ubudiyyah. You derive from this ma'bud and abid or abid, right? So these are derived from this what we call origin. From this origin, ibadah. So ibadah first is worship. Worship, or you can call it also servitude, to service, to be the servant. Yeah. Or slavery. That's why abid means slave or servant. And therefore we are ibadullah or ibad al-Rahman. There is surah. وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا. So we are the slaves or the servants of the Almighty Allah or Ar-Rahman. Now, the concept of ibadah or tawheed al-ibadah or tawheed al-uluhiyyah involves the ifrad.
ifrad means fard, one, to single out, to offer for one only. What we offer? We offer al-ibadah. We offer this ibadah to whom? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without any partner. Without any partner. Because once the ibadah is offered to more than one, then it is no more tawheed, because tawheed is oneness, one, single. That's why we cannot say that the Christians, for example, are having tawheed and or tawheed al-ibadah. Why? Because they offer ibadah to more than one. They offer it to God, they offer it to Maryam, Mary, they call her Mary. They offer it to the Isa alayhi salam himself. So they have more than one. So they don't have tawheed, sorry. Probably they have tawheed al-rububiyyah, no problem. Even the Quraysh, I told you, the tribe of the Prophet before Islam, they were having tawheed al-rububiyyah. The Arabs, most of them, they have tawheed al-rububiyyah. وَلَئِنْ سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ لَيَقُولُنَّ Allah. They recognize that. They accept it. They say Allah is the creator. So for them, they know that Allah is the creator, Allah is the sustainer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who decides. But the problem was with this man. That's why when Muhammad told them, no, you cannot worship the idols. They are bad, they are meaningless. They don't offer anything to you, you are wasting your time. They didn't like this. They started to get annoyed. And after that, they became so antagonist. Antagonists means they are not nice. They became nasty with Muhammad and his followers. So Tawheed actually, al-uluhiyyah, is the cornerstone, is the fundamental part which will always bring the difference between who is a true believer and who is not a true believer. So you need to always emphasize this. I'm not underestimating the concept of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. No, it is equally important. But where always the problem lays will come always when it comes to Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Without Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, Jewish people, Christians, Muslims, and other faiths, all of them they would agree because the belief in a God is fitra, as I told you before. So, but the issue is how we worship this God. The way we worship. For us as Muslims, we emphasize and we consider this fundamental that it should be for Him only. No partner. Even if you change it a little bit, you decorate it, you say, no, we are not actually worshipping the idols like the Quraysh said. They said, we are not really worshipping them. We just want them to be between us and God. So they have an argument, but this argument is not relevant. Is rejected categorically. It is not counted, it is discounted. That's why we in Islam, we consider this very, very essential, very fundamental. Ifradullah ta'ala bi al-ibadah. Now, when I say ibadah, what is the idea that comes into your mind about the definition of ibadah? What is the ibadah? Okay, let us start with this. And please attack each other. Huh? Don't just give me one single word and khalas. I got rid of the person. No, I want someone to say, no, I disagree with you, sister. Your definition is not, or, yeah, very good, sister, I agree. This is what I want. Let us step our effort. Let us get out from the shell. You know, the shell when you come, you are covered and don't want to be under the spotlight. All right, who wants to take the honor of starting this discussion? What is the ibadah? Huh? زعيم الرحمن, huh? زعيم means boss. So what is the ibadah in your understanding? No, I don't want you to give me example of ibadah. This is an example. You will tell me praying, fasting, doing the hajj. Dua. Because supplication is dua. I will take this, I will accept it. Supplication. Supplication. Dua. All right. Anything? Yeah, please. First, do you agree with me? So you think that ibadah means supplication? Okay. So when I'm a slave, when I agree that I'm a servant and slave, I need always to show my master. See, it is always when slave there must be a master, right? You cannot be slave of nothing. There must be a master. And in our case, our master is Allah, is God, is the divine. I cannot be master, sorry, I cannot be slave of human. That is degradation. I degrade myself. I dishonest myself if I become a servant for a human. But my slavery to God makes me what? Okay? Makes me honored? Yeah. I don't feel shame in being slave of God. So when the shame comes and when the honor comes, now I'm taking you to the next level. Right? It's philosophical now. So, slavery in essence, in origin, is it good or bad? Forget about God now. Originally, slavery. Bad. Very good. I agree. Slavery is bad. And what is the opposite of slavery? Masterhood or freedom. Which one? Because slavery means you lose your freedom. You are deprived from acting with will, with ikhtiyar, with irada. Because you do what your boss says to you. So the opposite of slavery is, anyone is recording? Okay, good. Yeah. The opposite of slavery is freedom. And when you are deprived from your freedom, it means that you lost one very important, one fundamental aspect of your personality as a human being. You are no longer a respected human being. That's in general. We are not talking now about slavery versus freedom with regard to God. We are talking in general with a human being, as a human being. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us free people. Free. Allah gave us the freedom. So we are free people. By the way, in my country, our origin is not Arab anyway. In North Africa, we are Amazigh. Like you are Malay, Malayu. Our origin, our race is Amazigh. Amazigh. In Arabic, Ibn Khaldun called us al-Barbar. Have you heard about this? Yes. Do you know what is the meaning of Amazigh in our language? Are we kidding? The Amazigh means the free people. or الرجال الأحرار. Yeah, we are so proud of this thing. Yeah. Anyway, so originally we are created, we are brought to this life free. And freedom is an added value, is a good value, is positive, is a feature that everyone should maintain, should keep very dear to him or to her. Because if you lose your freedom, it means that you lose your choice. And when you lose your choice, it means that you cannot control your destiny. You cannot do what you want. That's why nowadays in the world, if you go to America, this Biden and all these leaders, they talk about freedom. And they always, every day in their speeches, that freedom of expression and human rights, freedom of expression, human rights. And until they now, this third gender, LGBT, they call it? Yes. Yeah. They are given now the right to exist and under the pretext of freedom. Although they know all that it is something bad. It destroys traditional family, for example. But because of the abuse of the concept of freedom, they allow such things to happen. They allow many things, not only allowing many bad things to happen. So sometimes freedom can be abused, right? Are you still with me? Yes. So I don't want anyone to just start thinking about anything else outside and you lose the connection. Now we are in a very special connection and I want to keep it. I don't want anything to destroy that connection. So freedom is good in origin. In essence, is something very dear that we need to maintain. When we are dealing with humans, when we are talking about humans among each other. Because anything opposite to freedom among the humans will bring with it mess, with corruption, and injustice. Why should America be boss of the world? Why the Palestinians, for example, stay, slaves in their own country? This is what occupation will do. When you are in your country but you are not free, it means that the other side who imposed himself and made you a slave is actually enjoying the concept of being a boss or being a master. And knowing how the humans abuse these concepts, it means that those who are under occupation will suffer a lot. Right now, we are enjoying Ramadan in Malaysia because Malaysia is a free country, to some extent. But in Palestine, a lot of people are dying. Last few days, a lot of people have been killed because they are not free. They cannot practice their way of life the way they want. So, to cut it short, to symbolize, the slavery is bad when it comes to human interactions. Now, let us look at it from the perspective of God. We have decided, we have already discussed and addressed the issue of fitra and aql. We said that by fitra and aql, man believes, submits that there is a creator of this world, this universe, that there is a higher existence, which is the God. We can call it God, we can call it Allah, we can call it Tuhan, we can call it anything, but it is in the end the submission, the acceptance, the recognition that this universe, this life has been created by someone else. Right? And this, who created this, did very extraordinary job, right? It is not a simple job like sitting here and trying to function this and with that, and Zain Rahman helps me in this, and we achieve this. It's good, but it is not big achievement, right? We didn't do something miraculous. It's nice, but it is not miraculous. But look at around you, look at your nafs, look at your body, look at the past, look at the history. You will find that this higher power which created all this, including ourselves, is doing miraculous things. And take every simple matter, life and death. Why we live, for example, this course of life? Why we live 70? Why some they live 30? Why some live 100? Why? Yeah, there must be hikmah. Look at the what you call the nature. Why Malaysia is hot and a lot of rain? And you go to Europe, it is snowing right now, and why the Sahara of the Arabs is dry, they don't have rain, huh? And how all these things balance, how they work together. Imagine if the entire world was like Malaysia, a lot of rain and a lot of humidity. We will not have wheat. Because wheat doesn't grow in Malaysia, right? You know what is wheat? Flour. So there is a hikmah why a certain area, tropical region, is humid and having a lot of rain, and why the Sahara is dry. Why talking about Earth? Huh? Why the water is more than 70% of the Earth? When I say water, I mean the oceans and the sea and other lakes and so on. Why the Earth is covered by 70% of it is water. Imagine if it was less than that. There would be a disaster. It would be a disaster. They say, the ulama, the scientists, they say that if the ocean was not salty, if it was drinkable water that the people can drink, you know, the life cannot exist in this earth if it was not salty, because everything will be smelly. Because the salt kills the smell and the impact of dead bodies inside the ocean. So there are many things which are created by God, and we cannot count. But in the end, the conclusion is, a God with all these miraculous things that He created deserves to be obeyed, deserves to be listened to, deserves to be given the status of boss or master. Now, can we imagine, now this question for you, a naughty question to you. Could God created all this, He was so nice, but He doesn't ask us to worship Him, to do anything. He is so nice, so created all these things, but after He created us also, He didn't ask us to do anything. I mean, worshiping Him or believing in Him. He leaves us doing what we want. Which scenario is better? That scenario or the the true scenario that we have to believe, we have to go through the test of some will be believers, some will not be, the test of worshipping, the test of dying, and just after that the hisab and accountability and all this fearful, all these very, very crucial steps and parts of the life here and in the hereafter. Which scenario is better? No. I want some. One, just very simple. Yeah. Because we need to hear. And please, don't worry. There is no wrong answer and the right answer. Just trust. And be honest with yourself first. Don't try to give me the right answer because you think that it will be accepted by me. I want the answer which you think is correct, which you think that your mind is accepting it and works with your mind. Shall I repeat the question? Or it is clear? Repeat? Okay. We have this scenario now. God created us, and He told us we have to worship Him. We have to do Tawheed and Uluhiyyah. We have to offer to Him many obligations, and we have to refrain from many prohibitions. So we are slaves because He says do, and I have to do. He says refrain, and I have to refrain. So that He is practicing His privilege as master. Now, the other scenario is that He created everything, but He didn't give any command to us. He created us, and He lets us live the way we like. We do what we want. Which scenario is better, and why? Yeah, Bismillah. Yeah, inshallah. Can I sit? Can I sit in the middle? I will sit in the middle so you feel like we are not in the class. Just discussion. Yeah. The second one. So you prefer that if He didn't give us any instruction? So you prefer that as it is right now, how He designed it right now. And the reason? But who cares about mastery and slavery? For example, I want to be just a happy person. I don't want anyone to tell me what to do, and I will live the life the way I like it, and or at least group of us like it. And after that, even if I die, even I finish, there is no danger waiting for me. No problem waiting for me. Now I'm always under the fear. Oh, God is unhappy with me. Oh, He will punish me. He will be angry at me. All these things. So I'm not doing many things bad. Still, I'm scared that I'm not good enough. Right? Yeah. So if there was no test, now all this scenario of testing, of hereafter, of the iqab, the punishment, even if there is no reward, it's fine. It's fine. At least I will live without threat, without danger. So you are still maintaining your point? Okay, at least he tries, huh? So he feels that I'm happy with the way it is designed, the life is designed, huh? Yes. For you. Yeah, for you.
But I think better is something that is not better because everyone has their own definition of better. I think. So maybe some of us will think that if we live with the rules that someone made, not human, because human have nafs, right?
Yeah.
When they have nafs, also they will do things based on what is right.
Yeah, so and what is right for you is not right for him.
So then, without the ruler, and then the life is
mess.
Mess.
Messy, corrupted. We will differ. We will fight each other.
Yeah, because everyone has their own definition.
Terms of definition. Yeah. Definition of terms. Yeah. Yeah.
Meaning by there is no command from the God to worship Him.
no mission. Actually, no mission. You live like the animals, for example. Sorry, yeah? Like a chicken, for example. You think a chicken cares about what tomorrow and...
I think it's better for him to ask us to worship him, because if there is no command to worship him, then we are going to be like nuts, that literally all there is the caveman, like there is no guidance how to live properly like this right now.
Okay. But if I go with this line of question, even if there is no purpose in life, you see other animals are living without purpose, and they are fine. They are fine, right? For example, your cat. You have a cat at home?
Yes.
Ah. Boys, do you have cats? Right. Do you think that the cat is today is sitting and is unhappy because there is no purpose in life? For him, it's just when I'm hungry, I will go to the food. When I'm tired, I go to sleep. Of course, he sleeps a lot, huh? Yeah. And that's it. That's it. After that, after many years, he will say bye-bye to his son and die. So I didn't see a demonstration or protest from the cats that their life is miserable and they need to change. The birds in the trees, in their ways, they are fine. They fight sometimes over food, for example, but it's a small fight. But they generations and generations and generations, millions of generations of birds have been living in peace with their way of life. Same thing with snakes, with anything that we can imagine, even mosquitoes. Yeah. So the question is, should it be a purpose in this life in the first place?
Yes, of course.
Why? Why? Because we have reason. What makes us different from animals is that we have the ability to reason. We have the intellect. That's why the taklif to impose commands and rules is related to the aql. Animals are not given such tasks because they don't have aql. And humans and jinn are the two creations which were given aql, therefore they are physical. The other thing is that لا يسألوا عما يفعلوا وهم يسألون. You cannot question God. Why God created the way the world is functioning? No, because He's the creator, He's the master, and as a master, as a ruler, as part of His creation, a small, very small, tiny part. Who are you to question Him? Who are you to question Him? Number 3, one of the attributes of God is Al-Hakim, wise. Hakim is the one who possesses hikmah, wisdom. So the world cannot be better, the life cannot be better than the way God designed it. Because He's Hakim. Hakim is the maximum level of decision-making process. So the way He decided, the way He designed things, there is nothing better, there is nothing perfect than this. It is the highest level of perfection. So we need to trust that the God, Allah Azza wa Jalla, created the story of life, the existence in this way, because this is the best possible. And being the creator, being the one who decides, and there is nothing else can share with him and so on. So we need to accept, to believe, to be happy that this story of I created the world this way, I created you, in 2001, for example. Anyone born in 2001? Yeah. See, why not in 1968 like me? Why you waited 42 years? Until then only you come. 38, 33 years, difference between me and you. Two generations. Yeah, that's his wisdom. That's his wisdom that you are born in that particular time, in that particular year. And why you are born in Malaysia? Why not in Denmark? Why not in Mali? Why not in Sudan? Why not in Peru or Brazil? In Brazil here. That's his wisdom. That's his wisdom. And in contrast, contrary to all this, look at yourself. Your knowledge is very small. You don't know. You know only the present. You are sure about the present. You are not sure about what happens tomorrow, right? Even the past, you don't know it very well. You know a little bit of the past. Do you know all the details of what happened yesterday in the world? No. You don't know what my mother cooked yesterday? Wallahi, nobody of you knows about it. Even me, I don't know, because I didn't ask her. I can guess, but I'm not sure. And guessing is not knowledge, right? So this demonstrates that our knowledge is very, very small compared with the knowledge of Allah. And if your knowledge is small, how can you challenge? How can you stand there and ask such a question of why God you created the world this way, or why God you decided to bring me to this life in 2001, and why in Malaysia, why with these two parents, and why you decided that I study in UIA? Of course, there are questions which are relevant and questions which are not relevant. Few questions are not relevant, like last question of why you decided that because here there is your will also counts. That's why we need to understand the connection between the human will and the divine will. We need to put clear definitions, clear ends, clear landmarks which will help us to know where the will of the human ends and where it starts, where the God's will interfere and become bigger than the human will. So, inshallah, with the time, with the progress of your experience with me, inshallah, you will learn this. I hope that you appreciate, so far you appreciate the way I'm addressing these issues, right?
Yes.
Because I don't want, like what we do before that in Aqidah, we just study superficially. Superficially means from outside. We don't delve deeper. It's like a nurse. You are a nurse who is not good in still new. She doesn't do her job. So you go to her, you have an injury. She just do the simple one, the simple task. Bring the liquid, put it on the injury, bandage it. Bye, salam alaikum. Yeah, inshallah you'll be okay. Inshallah. Okay. This is the simple way. But the experienced nurse will look at the injury, will try to open and see if there is dirt inside. She will clean it first, and she will choose which product in medicine should be used better. She will look at your age. She will ask if you have sugar or diabetic problem or not. Because you know, those who are diabetic, if they have injury, it is their problem, right? Yeah. So this is the one, because she wants to solve the problem from the roots. But the other one, she wanted to do it in a very simple and safe manner. Just put whatever the medicine she has, bandage it, and wish you a good, speedy recovery. This is the way we studied Aqidah before. But when you go there, when you ask the taboo questions, you know what is taboo? I mentioned this word before. Taboo is something that it is unlawful, unpermitted. The society doesn't want to talk about it. This is called taboo. So, this is what we are doing, inshallah. We do the taboo. We do the things that even you, between you and yourself, sometimes you don't share these questions with others because you are afraid, because there is a stigma. Stigma. Stigma is the pain caused by something that is again taboo. So you suffer alone. You suffer alone. You cannot have even the chance to share the suffering or to talk about the suffering with others. The agony. Okay, another word. Agony. Yeah. So, any questions so far? That's the way we are trying to handle these questions. And we will continue to do that until you feel comfortable. Yes? Yeah? Yeah.
Then there is a video I watched before. They say that Jewish, they admit that they only worship one God. But you see that the Jewish and Christian and the others are not worshiping one God. So,
wait. For the Jewish, I didn't say that they worship many gods. The Jewish people, they have problem in Aqidah in terms of considering themselves the chosen people. شعب الله المختار. Therefore, they reject prophets who came after Musa. And you know, in our Aqidah system, and inshallah we will come to the prophets, rejection of a single prophet destroys the whole Aqidah system. So for the Yahud, or the Jewish people, their problem in Aqidah, theological problems related to Aqidah, they rejected some prophets, including Muhammad, including Jesus. That's one. Number two, if we talk about the beginning of the experience of Sayyidina Musa, they killed prophets. Prophet Yahya, or John in English, was killed by the Yahya. They worshipped idols, even during the time of Sayyidina Musa in Egypt. When Sayyidina Musa went to meet his Lord in the Mount of Tur, they said to Harun alayhi salam, اجعل لنا إلها كما لهم آلهة. He said, we want also an idol like other people. So there is no profound, no deep acceptance of the new Tawheed concept that Sayyidina Musa brought. So in the first chance, they jumped to the old practice of worshiping idols. So that's another problem. Now, if you tell me, well, doctor, but this is the beginning. It is not the responsibility of the current. I say yes. I agree with you. Yeah. Any Jewish person who feels that he is against what has been done by the forefathers, then I cannot hold him responsible happened in the past. But still, these current Jewish, the present Jewish person, still, all of them, they agree that they are the chosen people. And they reject other prophets. Even when it comes to God, they have, it's very, very weird. If you read the Torah, for example, the Holy Book is Torah. You will find stories about God and his behavior. It renders Allah as if he is like human. For example, when Allah sent Malak al-Maut, the angel of death, to one of the prophets. And see, it is written in Torah. And this prophet is Yaqub. Wait. No, not Yaqub. Yaqub is the father of Yusuf. Yaqub didn't want to die. And he told the angel of death, come, let us fight. If I beat you, then you cannot, you have no right to take my school. And they fought. They fought. Imagine, angel of death fighting with Yaqub. And Yaqub was very skillful. He put his finger inside the eye of the angel of death. And angel of death was crying, "Eye! And you see this story is written in the Torah? What is this? What type of religion is this? What type of aqidah is this? Angel of death fighting with Nabi because this Nabi doesn't want to die." So there are things which cannot stand. It is stupid things. So this aqidah is not as clear as the word defined that gives the honor. You see, when we talk about every Nabi, we say, alayhi salam. And we respect all the Nabis. When we talk about Jibreel, alayhi salam. When we talk about Malak al-Maut, alayhi salam. So for us, there is a veneration, there is a respect for everyone. That's for the ordinary. How about Nabi? In the Torah also, he said, heading to now the series one. Nabi Lut. See, Nabi Lut. Nabi Lut had two girls, his daughters. He got two daughters. And these daughters didn't marry, they stayed single and they became a little bit old. And they were unhappy that nobody came to marry them, and they were, very unhappy with their father because he didn't try to find husbands for them. So one day, see how they look at the prophets. One day they decided to give their father khamr. So they went after he ate his dinner, they brought for him khamr. They claimed that it is just juice water. So they gave him the first cup, the second cup, third cup, fourth cup, until he became drunk. Imagine, Nabi. And for us, Anbiya ma'sumun. Ma'sum يعني they don't commit sins. This Nabi is khamr drinker. He's addicted to khamr. And the girls, the daughters of Anbiya are also evil. They give the khamr to their father, and he doesn't pay attention to that. God doesn't come to him and tell him, be careful, what is Jibreel? Huh? You ask them. Jibreel was in holiday or what? No. This is because you are kadaba. Because you are liars. The story, I just finished the story, yeah? So they gave him all the khamr. After he became drunk, they committed zina with their father. Both of them. Who does this? Even the worst people nowadays, non-religious people will not imagine such thing to happen with the Father. Two, but it is written in the Torah. People, Yahud, they believe in such thing. So, if you ask me about what is the Aqidah problem in the Yehudi, like the Christian, they believe in three gods. No, they have a lot of problems. Because they draw the Anbiya as if they are adulterers. Others, I mean, they commit zina. They are khamr drinkers. They are people who are, what do you call it, obsessed with life. They don't want to die. They can do injustice. They can do all the things. So this Nabi is no longer role model. Is no longer the what you call the picture of fadila, of virtues, of khuluq. And if Nabi is like this, what is left for the commuters or the ordinaries? This is in order to permit for themselves, in order to allow themselves to do whatever they want. Because when anyone reads what the Anbiya or the prophets do, well, it's simply to say, I'm not a prophet, and I'm just a human, and I can do what I want. Because the prophets, and they can do these things. So they destroyed the picture. They destroyed the picture of good and chosen people like the Anbiya and Musa. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran mentioned how corrupted the Yahudi practices. All these things were mentioned, not in details, but the Yaqulun al-Anbiya, they killed their prophets. They are corrupted in terms of akhlaq. It is mentioned in the Quran. It is mentioned in the Quran. Did I answer your question?
Yes, so basically they have a lot, but the problem is on the Aqidah. So the Aqidah is the main problem what they are not accepted.
The Yahud problem, that's what Jesus was sent, because there is a process. After Musa came Sayyidina Isa. And Sayyidina Isa came to change and to reform, and to put things in the right way in terms of the practices of the new in terms of what they made halal, things they made halal, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted Sayyidina Isa to reform them, put them in the original way, or there were some temporal punishments to Banu Israel, and Sayyidina Isa came to put an end to that prohibition. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished Banu Israel that the meat which is mixed with fat is haram. Any meat that has traces of fat is haram. So, Sayyidina Isa came and said, no, this rule is no longer relevant. You can eat meat, even with fat. So this is a change, because the rule of prohibiting meat mixed with fat was a temporary punishment. For us, Muslims, I think nobody questions that we can eat the meat with fat or without, and there is no issue with that. It's halal, it's ni'mah actually. We consider this as ni'mah. Of course, nowadays those who are very obsessed with body shape and fat and to be careful about the weight and so on. They say, don't touch anything with carbohydrates and the fat is bad and so on. And if, of course, I have no problem with knowledge. If it is proven, if it is really proven that any form of fat is bad for the human being consumption, that's no problem. But, see, and take this as personal view, huh? It's not aqidah, it's personal view. I believe anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made halal, it shouldn't be originally bad. Fat, for example, Allah made it halal, right? The fat. Shuhum. In Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word shuhumahuma, which means the fats. It's halal originally. However, if someone takes every day 2 kilograms of fat, of course he will get sick. Even taking any other substance, 2 kilograms of sugar, you will get sick. 2 kilograms of whatever, you will get sick. So we, from our perspective, the exaggeration, the use and the overuse of the material, that's what makes it bad and evil. Imagine you eat 2 kilograms of chili every day. You will get sick, right? Imagine if you drink 50 liters of water every day. 50. I don't think you will be okay, right? Yeah? You take even honey. If you take 10 kilograms of honey every day, you will get sick. Anything that is overused will be bad. That's why we have the concept of moderation. Huh? Moderation. You eat and you drink moderately. You sleep moderately. This is the rule. So for me, and again, this is my personal view. The story of fat is bad and so on. I think it needs a little bit of doubt. I don't just absorb it 100%. Yeah, overuse of fat is bad. But to tell me that every fat is bad, I also disagree. Because if it was bad, Allah would not make it halal. يحل لهم الطيبات. See, يحل لهم what? الطيبات. طيب, something طيب, good. ويحرم عليهم الخبائث. What is prohibited is something khabith, bad, harmful. So if the shahm is allowed for us to consume, it means that originally it is tayyib, it's good. But don't go and eat 2 kilograms of fat every day. That's the point. Done? So last day is very colorful class, right? Any question? If there is no question, let us at least cover a little bit before we finish. إذن توحيد الألوهية هو إفراد الله تعالى بالعبادة. Oh, this is the key word. We started with it. So we have one word in one class. But it is working, right? Now, there is another word, البراءة من كل معبود سواه. البراءة, it is to get away from, to get a space or to get distance from any other form of ibadah to others. سواه يعني others. So we declare very clearly that we don't accept any form of ibadah to anybody else, including to the prophets. We don't offer ibadah to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We don't offer ibadah to Ibrahim or Adam or Nuh or any other prophet. We cannot offer, we cannot make dua because, yeah, you mentioned the supplication. The dua. Sorry. Yeah. So the ibadah involves offering the worship, and part of the worship is the dua. Because salat, for example, when you stand, when you say, this is the Qibla, right? Allahu Akbar. So this ritual, this standing and looking for the Qibla and being in the state of tahara, purification, huh? and pronouncing Allahu Akbar. These are rituals. These are acts that are prescribed to us. You cannot change them. So ritual is something that designed, that you are just going to follow. And the shahud and the saying salam alaikum, and the subhana rabbil a'la. This is the rituals of prayer, the prayer rituals. In fasting also, there are rituals because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us what to do. I cannot, for example, refrain from food and say, okay, I can take cigarette while fasting. No, because the fasting is not for you to do your ijtihad, to refrain from things and you say, no, other things I can. For example, you know the gum? Gum. Huh? Imagine, for example, someone develops a gum that doesn't have any taste or doesn't have any source of food. And he tells us, all right, this gum, you can put it in your mouth and you chew it all the time. Is that halal or haram? Huh? Why you are hesitant? Haram? Why? Shubha. So it is unclear, with clarity, huh? But the description of the gum is very clear. It doesn't have any water. It doesn't have any food, nutrients. It doesn't have any sugar. It doesn't have anything. All right, let me ask you a question. If I take a piece of your khimar, your scarf, okay, and I start showing it, is this haram?
What? Because they put it in.
No, I will not absorb it. Just show. First, it's not the haram is not about the use or not use. The haram is this is against the hukum of the Sharia, rule of the Sharia or not. Now someone has a habit of showing clothes, but he doesn't absorb them. Is his sawm still valid or not? Invalid? Why? Because if you remember the definition of sawm is the what invalidates the sawm is that something goes into the body from the mouth, and this person didn't send anything inside, just showing, and after that you will do it. What you say is haram. Oh, I mean, invalidate the sound of that person. For me, it didn't invalidate because according to what invalidates, what makes the sound corrupted or invalid is that we eat or drink something that goes inside. Imitating the act of eating invalidates. No, this is the first time in my life I do that. No. So if I act and start, very sweet. Huh? So my soul, khalas, gone. Based on your definition, I imitate. Huh? No. I disagree with you very, 100%. This is wrong, that the sawm or the fasting is still valid. Is still valid. Because if you go and look at the ulama's identification, how they identify what invalidates the sawm, they say is by eating or drinking anything that goes في الجوف. في الجوف يعني inside. And in this case, we didn't do. That's why, for example, seaweed. You know seaweed? This way. It doesn't invalidate the fasting. Especially if it is dry. If it is tender. For example, this word which is taken from the tree, it's not in Malaysia, I think. You go to Saudi Arabia. Then maybe there is a little bit of taste that goes with your saliva inside. But if it is dry, if the stick is dry, and you do your saliva, and the Prophet needed to do this, you know why fasting? No problem with that.
Sticking eggs and maybe flavorless, there is no connotation or flavor. So if someone chewing gum, that's allowed.
Based on what we have defined, the piece of what is the difference between the piece of cloth and the gum that doesn't have any nutrient, no water, no juice, no sugar, nothing? It's the same. Right? Yeah. For example, if you take a piece of plastic and you start showing it, you know, when we were small, we show anything. When we were in school, with the pen. This is heavy. This is what we do, right? So yeah, it is not invalidating the plastic. But what is my point? What is my point when I mentioned that? I was talking about the ritual of ibadah, the act of ibadah, the pure, the 100% act of ibadah. We mentioned that the salat, Allahu Akbar, the tashahhud, the taslim, the ruku', the sujood, these are pure acts of ibadah we cannot change. We cannot enter and say, let us change the ibadah, the salat, instead of 2 ruku', we make it 3 ruku'. We have to oh my God, you are fasting. There is one ruku' only in one rak'ah, right? And they said 2 ruku' and you accepted it. There are 2 sujood, right? I know you are scared to agree. In every rak'ah there are 2 sujoods and 1 ruku', isn't it? At least you got it right now. Yeah, so we cannot change. This is pure ritualistic act. You cannot interfere in it. That's why we say الاجتهاد. الاجتهاد is not part of the act of ibadah. Act of ibadah stays as it is. We cannot change it. However, there are acts which are not ritualistic, but we can be rewarded for doing them with a good intention. For example, wearing clothes. This is not ibadah. You can wear what you want, with the color you like, right? Yeah. But if you wear these clothes more from halal means, and the intention is to cover your aura, for example, there are our sisters. They wear the khimar or the scarf they like, the jubba or whatever they want, as long as it is covering the aura. And if the sister do it in the morning when she is wearing her attire, she says, I'm wearing this to cover every hour of mine in order to please my Lord. This will be an act of ibadah, and she will be rewarded. All the time that she is wearing that attire, she will be rewarded, inshallah. So here, it is not the ritual act of wearing the attire or the dress, but because she added another value, which is the intention, the act, the normal, the mubah act became halal. Became rewarded and something of ibadah. Same thing when you eat and you say Bismillah and you make the intention that my food is in order to strengthen my body, order to help me to do my ibadah, to do my qiyam layl, to do my fasting next day, and so on. This is also becoming turned into the act of ibadah. So the ibadah, the concept of ibadah has the ritual. The ritual is part only. It's part and small part. But the bigger part is when we add to it the good intention to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the entire life of the Muslim would turn into an act of ibadah. Even me, when I'm standing here sweating and trying to explain what I want to explain, in order to help myself deliver my job, my amana, and to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all this effort that I do, inshallah, will turn into act. You also standing here, also sitting and listening, trying to understand, in order to believe, in order to increase your knowledge, in order to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by this knowledge, also this will turn into an act of ibadah. So, however, in Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, we don't offer any act of ritual. See, the ritual in Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah is the one proposed or meant by not offering it to anybody else, to single Allah out by that act. So anyone who goes to, for example, a graveyard of Christians and offer to them dua, this is conflict. This is big problem. How can you offer a dua to someone? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed you in the Quran that this person who died in the aqidah of Tafleed, of Trinity, is kafir. How come you offer dua for a kafir? You cannot. Sorry. You can make dua for someone who is alive, still alive. Yeah. My brother, my friend Bernard or Christian or whatever his name, or John is my friend, is my neighbor. He's a nice person, and I pray to Allah that he turns and converts to Islam. This is okay. This is okay because he's still having chance to convert. But if his father died and you go to the graveyard with your friend, and in order to please your friend, you start making dua for his father who is already dead as a Christian, no, this is completely with your aqidah system. Now, another example. There are what we call holy men. Holy men are those nice people, Muslims, who used to be good and so on, and then they die. And a lot of people, after their death, they go to the grave of that particular person and make dua. Not for them. They ask them. They ask them for help. Maybe, I don't know in Malaysia if you have such concept or not, but in the entire Muslim world, there are this type of people who offer dua or supplication in order to expect help from the dead person. This is also shirk. This is against the concept of Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Because even Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we cannot go to Al-Medina and ask him to help us. We cannot go to Muhammad and ask him, dear Muhammad, in Medina, in his kubur, near Baqir, and then please, I have an exam, I want to succeed, please, guy, help me. Or someone, a woman who is veiled, cannot make children, she goes, Muhammad, I need children, my husband maybe will divorce me if I don't have the children, and can you help? You cannot do that. You offer these to Allah only. Muhammad cannot help you. Musa cannot help you. Ibrahim cannot help you. Nobody can help except Allah. So the dua should be offered to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't make dua for someone, not to ask help from someone. If you want to ask Allah. إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. السؤال والاستعانة يكون بالله تبارك وتعالى.
Sorry, I surpassed the time. I think 30 and finished it late. And I know some of you are a bit happy, some are not so. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك سبحان ربك رب العزه عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين اخر دعوانا ان الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمه الله تعالى وبركاته.